Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Crossing the line, a Raleigh police officer charged with having sex on the job instead of conducting an investigation. We'll preview today's hearing.
School bus wreck. Poor visibility and an item in the road played a role in a crash involving a school bus. An update on the condition of the driver and students who were on that bus.
And the next weather maker is a cold front across parts of the Midwest right now. I'll show you when it will bring us some rain.
The Raleigh police officer fired for allegedly accepting a sexual favor is due in court today. Tremail Cogdell lost his job Friday after charges were filed. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. Thanks so much for joining us. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is outside the courthouse in downtown Raleigh. Sean, this person is accused of abusing his position after a traffic stop.
Yeah, and there's body-worn camera of the incident as well, according to the Raleigh Police Department. But they couldn't tell me whether or not Cogdell stopped that recording at any point during the interaction that he had. But we do know Cogdell paid his $30,000 bond, so he will be walking through the doors of the courthouse later this afternoon. Cogdell was charged Friday with 2 felonies and a misdemeanor after an incident in September where Raleigh police say he went to the scene of an early morning crash, and instead of investigating for a DWI, he allegedly accepted a sexual favor from a woman involved, driving her back to his home in his patrol car while on duty. Raleigh police suspended him when they learned the State Bureau of Investigation was looking into the matter and then promptly fired him Friday when charges were filed. Now, Cogdell has been with the department for a little over 3 years, and in that time frame, he right now has about 60 cases pending that still have to go through. Raleigh police telling me that's about average for an officer of his rank. I've also reached out to the district attorney's office this morning to figure out what her office is going to do with these cases. She tells me that they're reviewing each one right now and haven't made a decision on which ones they'll be able to move forward with or which ones they'll have to toss out. But we will bring you more later this afternoon after the hearing, which is scheduled for 1:30. But for now, in downtown Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Dry weather is about to come to an end as a cold front brings a good chance of rain midweek. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is out on the WRAL weather patio with a look at the timeline. Rain's on the way, Elizabeth.
You never know it. It's so pretty out here right now. We take a look behind me. But of course, here's our next weather maker. And it's right now a stationary front, but it will eventually become a cold front and continue its trek across the country in our direction. We take a look here at Futurecast. This is this afternoon, and you can see partly cloudy skies, and that's what we're seeing right here. As a matter of fact, when I look up here on the patio, I mean, it is nothing but blue. So pretty. And this is exciting. Notice at 9 o'clock, we really begin to clear things out. And once we get to, say, early tomorrow morning, we're still looking at clear skies. We have a full moon tonight, and so hopefully you can get outside and enjoy that. It is a super moon. As we get through the day tomorrow, say right there at lunchtime and into the afternoon, we do cloud up, but we're really not going to see a whole lot of rain, if any, on Tuesday. It's likely to come right around lunchtime on Wednesday. There's 6:30 in the morning, there's 9 a.m., and then right there between noon and 2, we begin to see that line of showers and thunderstorms move through, and it's out of here by around 5 or 6 o'clock. So it may not be something that causes any real issues for either the morning or the evening commute. Hoping for anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of rain. We definitely need the rain. Behind this front, we'll see gusty winds on Thursday up to 20 to 30 miles per hour, and we'll see our temperatures dropping nicely with highs in the upper 60s to right around 70. That is not the only rain in our forecast. We'll take a look at what could roll our way on Saturday coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. State Highway Patrol says no citations will be filed after a crash involving a Wake County school bus injured 3 students. WRAL's Laura Levine went to the crash site and spoke with Roseville students who were on that bus.
It was a scary and bumpy ride for students headed to Roseville High School this morning. Here's why. The bus crashed into this large dead tree that fell in the middle of the road here on Doc Proctor Road. A little after 6:30 this morning, investigators responded to the scene. After crashing into the tree, the bus veered off the side of the road. The Wake County Sheriff's Office as well as EMS came to the scene. Students on board described being lifted off their seats. We're told some students received cuts on the face.
Some kid had a slit on their eyebrow and they're bleeding. And then some other kid, all had like back pain.
Mason Robertson tells me it was a scary situation, not knowing what exactly was going on.
And the bus like went up in the air and we started shaking, and then we swerved into the side of the road.
Wow. What was going through your mind when all of that was happening?
It's like, what's going on? And then It's just shaking. It's shaking.
Parents came to pick their students up from the scene, and another vehicle was also involved in the crash. State Highway Patrol says heavy fog played a factor. A total of 11 students were on board. 3 had minor injuries. The bus driver was taken out on a stretcher, but we're told that that person is doing okay. State Highway Patrol is investigating the crash. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Wendell.
Glad to hear there are no serious injuries with that. Now, about 30 minutes before that crash, Sky 5 flew over this scene of a wreck on I-95 North in Cumberland County near Fayetteville. Within the last 15 minutes, that road reopened. The road was supposed to reopen by 10, so a bit of a delay. The crash involved vehicles, including an 18-wheeler and a dump truck. You could see debris all over the shoulder. State troopers shut down a lane for hours. That caused major backups. No word on injuries or charges.
Israeli and Hamas leadership are holding indirect talks at an Egyptian resort today to discuss a roadmap for peace. The U.S. drafted peace plan would end the war in Gaza, but as NBC's Richard Engel reports, there are still some parts that are a bit uncertain, including what governing Gaza would look like in the future.
There hasn't been this much momentum to reach a deal to end the war in Gaza since it began 2 years ago. Negotiators from the United States, Israel, and Hamas are all meeting today in Egypt to try and hammer out the logistics of the deal, work on the details about how this deal, this 20-point plan put forward by President Trump, would actually be carried out. Under the terms of the deal, Hamas would agree to give up power in Gaza, handing over authority to a still to be determined body of experts and a group of Palestinian technocrats, and critically release all of the hostages it is still holding. Hamas is believed to be holding 48 hostages, 20 of them presumed to be still alive. President Trump says he expects the hostages could come out soon. Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu is calling this deal a victory for Israel and says that all of the hostages could return home within a week. Richard Engel, NBC News, outside Tel Aviv.
And ahead of tomorrow's anniversary, people gathered in Raleigh to remember those killed and taken hostage. Hundreds marched through downtown yesterday with signs and flags to know where they stand on this. Meanwhile, at Jewish Community Center, another group rallied in support of Gaza after Israel's response to the attack. One woman showed WRAL photos of her 2 friends among the 1,200 people who were killed by Hamas 2 years ago. And she says what happened to them is unfair.
The brutality is something that I think the world should know of the extent. We are still trying to recover.
People at both events said they have prepared for the possibility a deal is not reached.
The Supreme Court rejected Ghislaine Maxwell's challenge to her criminal conviction for recruiting and grooming teenage girls for sexual abuse. Ghislaine was convicted 3 years ago for her role in helping Jeffrey Epstein. The High Court declined to hear her case. Today's decision means that Maxwell's conviction and her 20-year criminal sentence remains in place. The White House is considering a massive bailout of up to $14 billion for farmers. Much of it would likely go to soybean farmers who've been hit especially hard since China stopped importing soy from the U.S. The entire agriculture sector has been hit by tariffs and labor shortages from President Donald Trump's immigration policy. Farm bankruptcies hit their highest level since 2021 during the first half of this year.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we are learning the Supreme Court has rejected an appeal from Laura Loomer. This is her, a far-right influencer and an ally of President Trump. The suit was against social media companies for kicking her off their platforms. She previously sued Facebook owner Meta Platforms as well as X. Well, she filed a new lawsuit saying companies broke civil racketeering laws by deplatforming her as she ran for Congress in 2020 and 2022. Her appeal posed some legal questions about the latitude of a law known as Section 230. It protects social media sites from lawsuits. Many on both the left and the right have criticized that immunity for different reasons, but the Supreme Court has largely avoided addressing that issue. Both X and Meta, they both waived their right to respond to her appeal.
And more breaking news. Former NFL quarterback and current Fox Sports color commentator Mark Sanchez now faces a felony charge of battery in connection with an altercation over the weekend. The more serious charge was added after investigators learned of the severity of the victim's injuries. Sanchez was in Indianapolis covering the Colts-Raiders game. Prosecutors say he argued with the delivery truck driver over where his truck was parked. And they say he shoved the man multiple times before he was then pepper sprayed and stabbed.
The government shutdown may delay an announcement on cost of living adjustments for Social Security recipients. An announcement in cost of living adjustments is expected next Wednesday, October 15th. However, most Bureau of Labor Statistics employees have been furloughed, and that means inflation updates could be delayed. The September data needed for the report, though, that was already collected, and payments will continue as usual. Meanwhile, we're taking a look at stocks this afternoon. I think we may have those up there. There we go. Looks like the Dow down about 113 points right there. Walking to see how things are going to improve as the day progresses, but certainly not the way to start off the work week there, Renee.
Starting tonight, Powerball players in North Carolina will have a second chance to win up to $10 million in prizes. Now, the first double play drawing takes place tonight. It will take place immediately after Powerball drawings on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday nights. One set of numbers is played in both the Powerball and double play drawings, giving players two chances to win. The new feature does cost an extra $1 per play. That means the total cost of a double play ticket will be $3.
Deadly college shooting aftermath. What's being done for students at a South Carolina university as they process homecoming weekend shootings?
Phony parking tickets. You have to see how detailed this scam has become in a city in California, plus the warning from police.
Fatal street race suspect, the 18-year-old who appeared in court today, and the role police say he played in a deadly crash in Durham County.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000, sponsored by the WRAL weather app. Download now for live radar.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, a judge has ordered a hearing on whether Kilmer Abrego Garcia was the target of a vindictive prosecution. That hearing is going on right now. Basically, this is what happened. A U.S. district judge in Tennessee noted the investigation into Abrego Garcia was reopened shortly after he successfully challenged the U.S. Supreme Court. What the Trump administration acknowledged was his mistaken deportation to a prison in El Salvador. That investigation also came after numerous administration officials accused Abrego of being guilty of numerous crimes. The judge said Abrego's claims also appear to be supported by timing of the reopening of a criminal investigation before he was deported. The investigation was reopened a week after Abrego's win in the Supreme Court in April. The judge said, quote, "This timeline suggests that Abrego's prosecution may stem from retaliation by the Department of Justice."
The Trump administration is facing a new lawsuit over its move to deploy National Guard troops to Chicago. Illinois and Chicago leadership announced the lawsuit today, and they're asking the court to order the administration to stop federalizing or deploying National Guard troops to Illinois. The suit also asks the judge to declare the federalization of National Guard troops more broadly as unlawful.
And Chris, to add a little more context to that, today's suit filed at Illinois comes after a judge temporarily blocked the deployment of California's National Guard troops to Portland. President Trump ordered California troops to protect what he calls a war-ravaged city. About 100 troops have already arrived in Oregon. The governor there says the move appears to sidestep Saturday's ruling, which the administration plans to appeal. California's attorney general criticizes the president, saying he is overstepping his authority.
Is not king. He is not above the law. He's acting as if he has carte blanche to deploy National Guard troops anywhere in the country. He doesn't. It's our National Guard, California's National Guard, not Trump's Royal Guard.
Texas was ordered to send their National Guard to Portland as well.
Because of two shootings during homecoming weekend, classes are canceled on the South Carolina State University campus. A woman died in one of the shootings and a man was wounded in the other one. Investigators say the shootings were not connected, though. One person was arrested for firing a weapon on campus. However, it's unclear which shooting he's linked to.
It's just heartbreaking, because we came up here for a good time and the good time got shut down early because there's so much violence going on in the communities these days.
And as I mentioned, yes, school canceled for today, and counseling will be available tomorrow for students and faculty members.
Fall is in the air these last few mornings, but how far away or how far off are we from that first fall frost? In today's Ask the Meteorologist, Chris Michaels shows us where the cold air is now and when we can expect to cover up the plants.
It's that time of year where we start to look toward the north, and it's obvious that things are getting colder up there, right? Especially in Canada and in the Arctic. You get a lot of pools of cold air as they lose daylight very quickly up there. Even for us, we lose daylight at a pace of 2 minutes and 13 seconds per day in the month of October. But as that happens, you still have leftover warm air to the south. It creates a very volatile and active jet stream, so when it drops, we get cold. When it rises, we get warm again. So that's why we see all these temperature swings in the month of October, but still quite a ways off from that first frost or freeze. In fact, when you look at this week, the only chance of that is going to be toward the Rockies, the Intermountain West, and parts of the Canadian Plains. Here at home, when you look at the long-term average for the first fall freeze, it's the last week of October. It's a little earlier than that in the mountains and later than that as you head toward the coast. However, that's the long-term average. We're showing you the recent trends, how much later that first freeze is happening, and the 3 ways that impacts you. That's right now on WRAL.com. Just search Ask the Meteorologist.
No cold air yet, nothing but warm air this afternoon. It's getting on the toasty side. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL weather patio with all that sunshine. Boy, it looks beautiful.
It is beautiful. It feels great out here. It is warm, but it's not terribly humid. So, it's comfortable, especially if you can find yourself a shady spot. And of course, here's the WRAL Gardens, and we're looking at just beautiful. We were sort of wondering why no one's here. It is such a beautiful day today, and just kind of out here all by ourselves. It is 77 degrees, but the dew point's at 58, and that's a really comfortable dew point. The dew point is the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, and when it's in the 50s this time of year, it feels really good. Our temperatures are in the 70s, 77 in Raleigh, 79 in Southern Pines, 80 in Fayetteville, 76 in South Hill. So feeling good out there. Our temperatures around the Triangle are in the 70s as well. 76 in Holly Springs, 77 in Morrisville, 76 in Knightdale. Around town, 83 for the high today in Raleigh, 81 in Durham, and 85 in Fayetteville. So that's pretty warm, especially compared to normal. And this is a look at temperatures versus normal. The yellow and orange shaded areas are where temperatures are above normal, and that's going to stay the same all the way up until that front moves through. As soon as it moves through, we start to see the blue shaded areas, and that's where our temperatures will start to drop down below normal. So looking forward to that. I know some people will be. 55 is our normal low, 62 tomorrow, 67 Wednesday. So that temperature, of course, starting to climb a bit. But then once the front comes through, we'll see it dropping nicely. So looking at 55 degrees on Thursday, 51 on Friday, 57 Saturday. So some cooler air, and that'll be the same in the afternoons as well. 77 is our normal high. Warmer than that today and tomorrow, and then by Thursday and Friday, once that front moves through, we're going to see the cooler temperatures. A big drop in the muggy meter too. We're comfortable now. It'll climb a little bit tomorrow and Wednesday when rain comes through, but after the rain moves out, Thursday and Friday, it drops right back down, and it's going to feel great. Our best chance of rain will come Tuesday night, potentially into Wednesday. Right now, the short range models are showing, right around lunchtime up until the evening commute for the best window for rain, but we'll continue to watch that as we get through, the next day or so and fine tune that if we need to. As I mentioned earlier, we do have the potential for some rain on Saturday. We're going to see a low that could develop along that front. Once that front stalls, a coastal low could form. It may not develop any tropical characteristics, but of course, if we see a coastal low, it is going to, push some more water onshore, especially up around the Outer Banks. There'll likely be some heavy surf and possibly some more coastal flooding. Of course, we've had, I believe, 9 homes fall into the water there up on Hatteras Island. We could see more of that over the weekend. I'll show you what we could see here with that system on Saturday coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. Dangerous disposal. A local fire department is sharing a warning about lithium-ion batteries, why they're sparking fires on solid waste trucks, and what you can do to stop the fires from happening at 4.
And then at 5 o'clock, a phantom crash. Emergency responders are being called to car crashes that don't exist, why your phone may be calling them, and what you can do to make sure they're only contacted in an emergency. Fake tickets, real charges. The latest scam targeting drivers.
scoring big. Touchdowns and field goals are key to winning a football game. Now the NFL hopes new programs will help fans rethink sustainability.
And breaking right now in the WRAL Live Center, we are following a crash involving what appears to be a tractor trailer on I-95 South. Sky 5 is over the scene right now. You see that truck there. It appears to have gone right off the road and jackknifed. We did see EMS on scene working to get more details about if anybody was hurt in this, how many cars or trucks were involved in this. Right now, we are only seeing this one, what appears to be maybe a tanker truck that went right off the road. Again, this is I-95 South in Johnston County near mile marker 81. Sky 5 showing that to us right now live. We're going to stay on top of this and get more details. We'll bring it to you from the Live Center.
Michelle, thank you. Fake tickets are popping up in some of Oakland, California's most popular neighborhoods. Although this scam has not been reported here, we want to make sure you're aware of it. A $74 ticket claims to be from the city of Oakland and features a phony citation of failure to display a parking receipt. The ticket also includes a QR code to pay the fine. The violation number nearly matches the real city code, but is off by one digit. The fake ticket also features a message in very fine red print, and it reads, failure to respond may result in additional penalties like nap time.
It's messed up, and who knows where their private information's going. If they scan that QR code and pay, I feel bad for them.
You don't want to pay these scammers, so you're being robbed. Second is then you start doubting everything else. You know, if I get another ticket somewhere else, is it true?
It's not clear if anyone has fallen for the scam, but the QR code now goes to a blank web page. Oakland police say the phony tickets could lead to real criminal charges.
Some people have way too much time on their hands. Starting today, American Airlines is loosening restrictions on carry-on baggage sizes. The company is taking away metal bag sizers at its boarding gates, and those are used to make sure that your carry-on will fit on the plane. The airline is making the change to enhance its boarding process, and carry-on bags still must be no more than 45 inches. Keep that in mind. Employees are being advised to side with the customers, though, if they believe the bag may be slightly over the requirement. Single women homebuyers are around 30% more likely to be denied than single men. That's according to a recent study by LendingTree. Analysts say the reason behind the different treatment, well, it's kind of twofold, right? Women still earn about 85 cents for every dollar men make. Sexism and gender-based discrimination also plays a role here. Data reveals that women are more likely to be turned down for a mortgage in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, too.
Deadly consequences. A street race ends with the death of a third driver. Today, the driver who investigators say was at fault.
The NFL is going green, and we're not just talking about the turf, right? How several stadiums are reducing their carbon footprint. And we do have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. Good luck.
And back here in the Live Center, we want to get back out to that breaking news on I-95 in Johnston County. It appears a tanker truck has gone off of 95 through trees, and you can see it here from Sky 5. Sky 5 is over the scene right now. You can see the truck actually jackknifed. The cab looks like that it had overturned. We're working to get details on if anybody was hurt in this, how many people were involved in this. You can see Johnston County Fire is on scene right now. They still have 2 fire engines on scene. We did see an ambulance there earlier. That ambulance has since left. Again, this happening I-95 South in Johnston County. This is mile marker 81. That fuel tanker appears to have gone right off the road through those trees and into this open field. As soon as I learn anything else about this crash, I'll bring it to you from the Live Center.
I'm wondering if the Department of Environmental Quality has to go out there to clean up. Okay, thank you, Michelle. Breaking news, we are learning more about a man killed in a crash that deputies have linked to street racing. WRAL had the only camera in court as Kevin Ruiz Gomez faced a judge for the first time. WRAL Durham reporter Monica Casey was there, actually. Monica, you're in the courtroom. Kind of describe the atmosphere when you were listening to things unfold.
Yeah, Chris, it was emotional in that courtroom. There were family members of both that defendant and the victim in the room. Now, Ruiz Gomez's attorney asked the judge for a bond of about $100,000, and the prosecutor requested a bond closer to $500,000. Instead, the judge set the bond well above both of those at $1.5 million. Now, Ruiz Gomez faces 10 charges and citations, including 2 felonies of fleeing to elude arrest and assault with a deadly weapon causing serious injury. He is also charged with misdemeanor death by vehicle after deputies say he ran through a red light while fleeing after being spotted street racing. The man who was killed, Jamal Parker, was not related to any of that street racing. That happened near the intersection of NC 55 and Riddle Road. We spoke with Parker's aunt after court, who tells us he was a father of 4.
Happy. He just wanted everybody to be happy around him. Big heart, a giver, would give his last. And his main priority was his children. That's all that mattered. And he worked hard to care for them.
Ruiz Gomez's attorney told the judge he was born and raised in Durham and attended Hillside High School. We also learned from arrest warrants Ruiz Gomez was driving with a revoked license at the time of that crash. His next court date is later this month. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Also today, a court appearance for a convicted sex offender accused of being on the grounds of an elementary school in Cumberland County. Deputies say 66-year-old Danny Yarborough, right here on your screen, was arrested at Gallberry Farm Elementary in Hope Mills. This was this past Friday. Well, he's charged with 2 counts of being a sex offender on a child premises. Yarborough is being held on a $100,000 bond.
Tonight, the city of Raleigh will discuss plans to expand bus rapid transit routes, and they want your input. Planners are working on the downtown to midtown route. They're holding an open house from 5 to 7 this evening at the 5 Points Center on Noble Road. Construction on the first phase is now underway. It will connect downtown Raleigh with Wake Med and New Hope Road. When the BRT line is finished, New Bern Avenue will have 10 stations and more than 3 miles of bus-only lanes. Wake County leaders and Zebulon Town commissioners will meet to talk about the future of 5 County Stadium today. Zebulon and Wake County leaders signed off on a new lease with WRAL's parent company, Capital Broadcasting, last month. The deal will bring a Coastal Plains League baseball team to the stadium. Wake Tech would also play their baseball, softball, and men's and women's soccer games there. Leaders will be discussing any needed budget amendments and finalizing details.
From solar panels to composting and beyond, the NFL is looking to score points with the environment after the game. Ted Linder takes a closer look at some of the programs.
With football season in full swing, energetic fans are filling up stadiums across the country to root for their favorite teams. But it takes a lot of energy to run the jumbotrons, lights, and everything else inside these massive venues.
I would like to say that we're setting the pace for sure.
But several National Football League stadiums are scoring points off the field when it comes to sustainability.
Our waste diversion is 99+% in the stadium.
Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Philadelphia Eagles, is harnessing the power of the sun.
We have one of the largest solar arrays in the world of any stadium. We have almost 11,000 panels. We produce 40% of our own energy.
Workers here also manually sort recyclables. An on-site compactor then crushes the metal so it can be sold.
We actually bale it in the stadium and then we send it out.
The stadium recycled about 18 tons of aluminum last year, and officials reinvested funds into their sustainability program. Many fans are on board with the cause.
Like, hey, let's minimize the damage that we're causing to the environment. You always want to root for a team that's doing good by the environment and the community. So
some advocates believe younger fans are also helping to spark change.
These consumers are the ones that tend to have environmental concerns, social impacts most salient to them.
But Lincoln Financial Field isn't alone. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta and Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, have similar initiatives. In February, Levi's Stadium will host the Super Bowl.
That was Ted Linder reporting.
On the topic of football, Carolina Panthers fans are celebrating the team's come-from-behind victory over the Miami Dolphins. The big surprise of this game was running back Rico Dowdle, who ran for over 200 yards. He stepped up while Chuba Hubbard was out with an injury. The Panthers held off the Dolphins 27-24. This was their second win of the season. The victory also tied the franchise's record with a 17-point comeback.
Bullying can happen. The signs to watch for in your child and how to best handle that situation.
A legacy lives on. How a charity tournament tonight is remembering a pro golfer in Raleigh whose life ended too soon. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. All that sunshine and these above normal temperatures may have you thinking of the coast. So let's give you a live look at beautiful Beaufort. Our nice weather stretches all the way to the coast. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. October is National Bullying Prevention Month. 1 in every 5 students has experienced bullying, with most of it happening at school. Mental health experts are chiming in to help parents protect their children. The first thing adults need to remember is not to overreact. Instead, listen and let your child talk. Watch for signs that they are being bullied, such as making excuses for not being able to go to school or to an activity.
Have a couple people you know have your back. So that's one really good strategy for young kids. Ignoring is useful to a point. When it gets really mean or it gets physical, then you have to bump it up.
That bullying doesn't just happen in person. Be sure to regularly monitor your child's social media activity and limit how much time they are spending on their phones and tablets.
Golf stars will be in Raleigh today for a charity tournament honoring the life and legacy of Grayson Murray. Murray is a Raleigh native and a 5-time champion across the PGA and Korn Ferry Tours. He took his own life in May of last year. And he had previously been open about his struggles with anxiety, depression, and addiction. Organizers say every swing, every story, and donation, it helps advance mental health and addiction care and ensures that Grayson's mission continues to make a difference.
This is our first major fundraiser. We're partnering, and we will announce on Monday a number of partnerships, both here in the community with Wake Med and nationally with other treatment facilities that will enable us to actually deliver on Grayson's wishes.
There will be a silent auction tonight, and fans everywhere can participate online. WRAL is a proud community sponsor of this event.
Giving Back, a grassroots organization, is on a mission to support families of children facing a medical crisis. I'll talk with a Me Fine representative about a night of elegance and giving. Plus,
Milano's going to go. He's in row 10. He's in row 15. He might get a beer. Milano, where are you going, man?
He could go all the way home. An unforgettable souvenir. A Buffalo Bills fan catches a pitiful pass, and off he goes. Play-by-play of the viral moment. That's later. Just a heads up, the harvest moon will be visible from tonight into early Tuesday. Another sight people are waiting to see. It should be pretty special because this year it's also the first of 3 back-to-back supermoons. A supermoon happens when the moon reaches its nearest point to the Earth, making it look larger and fuller. October's full moon is called the harvest moon, and that's because it's the full moon closest to the first day of fall. Now, historically, its bright light helped farmers finish their harvest for the year. It's pretty cool seeing that driving in this morning. I know, Elizabeth, we couldn't get enough of that, seeing that this morning.
Oh, and it was so beautiful. We're going to get to see it again tomorrow morning when it's actually full. But, you know, a couple days before the full moon, a couple days after the full moon, it still looks beautiful. Now, when we get into Wednesday morning, it's probably going to be cloudy. So get out and, you know, take a good look at it, take some photos of it tomorrow. It's going to be great. But like you said, we've got 4 of them between now and the end of the year. All right, WRAL Gardens right behind me looking absolutely gorgeous. There are a couple of folks back there that are taking some photos. It's a beautiful day for that. Our temperatures this afternoon afternoon, 83 in Raleigh, 81 in Durham, and 85 in Fayetteville. So definitely warm out there. We talked about our next weather maker, which is this cold front moving through Chicago, Omaha. Notice the moisture that's coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico. So as that cold front moves eastward, it's going to interact with some of that moisture and help to push it our way. But today is going to be nice and quiet. We'll walk through the remainder of the day today with just partly cloudy skies. It should actually clear a little bit tonight. That's going to be 9 o'clock tonight. That moon's going to start to come up, and at midnight we should be fairly clear. Same thing up until around 7 o'clock. Then we may begin to see some cloud cover streaming in from the south and from the west. It'll feel a little grayer to us at lunchtime, and then we should be dry through the evening commute. As a matter of fact, we take a look at Wednesday. And much of Wednesday, at least the first half of the day, should be fairly dry. Finally, by the time we get to mid-morning into the early to mid part of the afternoon, that's when we're going to see that potential for some showers and thunderstorms, and then they're out of here around, say, 5 or 6 o'clock. So hoping for 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch. Some of that will depend on how fast this moves. If it'll move nice and slow, we'll get closer to that 3/4 of an inch. But if it moves over your area really fast, it's probably not going to be a whole lot of rain. Once it moves on by on Thursday, we're going to see winds gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, and then it feels like fall again. Temperatures will drop into the upper 60s to low 70s for afternoon highs. That's going to feel really nice. This is an early heads up for the weekend. We're going to watch the potential for a low to develop along that front, and that could push some rain definitely along to the coast, but probably far enough inland for increased rain chances here, at least for Saturday. It looks like potentially it would develop. We get rain Saturday, and then it moves right on out.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following today. A Raleigh police officer fired for allegedly accepting a sexual favor is due in court today. He's accused of accepting a sexual favor from a woman involved in a crash instead of investigating it. Well, police say he drove her back to his home in his patrol car while on duty. Cogdell had been with the department for more than 3 years and was involved in nearly 60 cases, according to online records. The district attorney said this morning that her office is in the process of reviewing those cases.
In